memory of 6 adults sitting in a circle. Then there were spider webs inside, iron doors, spider webs behind the pillar, 2 red eyes, long hairy arms. My location, spiders are 40 feet away, and we end up going into battle. That's where we noticed that Matrell killed Nico. Master Solomon is killing sailors to use in experimentations. Not ringing a bell.
Yeah, you guys had that memory of Martrill killing Nico already.
Right. But before that happened, there was a distant memory of 6 adults sitting in a circle. That's all you gave us on that.
It must have been. It must have been your guys' teachers.
That would make sense.
And if I remember correctly, it would probably be. Ooh, I think I do remember. Yes, I do remember. Similar to Boogie's situation. You, on an unusually nosy night at the academy, had actually gone out of bed to where you weren't supposed to be, and you knew that the instructors were meeting there, which is what piqued your curiosity. You had seen Tatsuya and the other teachers walking that way to convene, but they were convening without Martrill. And that kind of piqued your little curious Dragonborn mind. So you went down to check it out. And you were listening at the door. There's a rather large keyhole that you could see through. Seeing 6 adults sitting at the table, you heard them talking about having distrust in Martrill and odd things occurring, people having blackouts and just areas of their day that they just can't seem to remember. And they were all kind of beginning to grow suspicious. And the next thing you know, hear Martrill's voice behind you saying, "Find anything interesting?" And his cold hand grabs you on the shoulder. The door flies open, and you watch as this immense show of force as Martrill just begins unloading. And these instructors, caught by surprise, unaware that Martrill would come in and start attacking them, are caught off guard, and you see is that he's not killing them, but you watch as they're falling one after another, almost stunned, unconscious, to the ground, looking down at you with this very confident, I can't be touched kind of confidence, this ugly grin. The wand points at your face, and this energy comes out of it, and your vision goes black again. But that's one of the memories that Martrill took from you.
Okay.
Tatya! Lessons that you missed with Tatya. Tatya actually explained to you a while back about his relationship and with Bahamut. And he explained to you that he was actually one of the deity's right-hand mans and most trusted confidants. And he instilled in you this desire of Bahamut that you should always try to negotiate first, that you shouldn't just jump straight to fighting, that Bahamut really loved diplomacy more than anything. It would only fight as a last resort. And it's interesting to you that this memory was taken from you by Martrill. The sister church of the Yellow God is actually Amanator, and the sister church of the Yellow God is the Church of Mistra. The Temple of Ogma, OHGMA, is the divine entity of knowledge, and he's a known ally of Mistra, seeking to protect all manner of arcane knowledge and secrecies.
Divine what did you call him? Aura?
I don't know what word I just used. He's the divine... Yeah, Ogma is the Temple of Ogma is like the central location of where all the clerics and scholars of Ogma collect that information that they hold. So like they're basically like the world's information network. They gather all sorts of information and they protect it, and like knowledge is power kind of deal. And they're important because they're actually rather helpful in determining which pathways to take, um, and speculating on like what the oracles had actually predicted in full. What became of my parents? Ooh. What became of my parents? Emus. That's a memory that Martrill took.
Oh, is it really? Fuck yeah, let's go.
Not necessarily what happened to your parents, but you remember your parents sitting you and your sister Carmina down. And it was a very pleasant but serious tone. And you guys were getting a little older at the time, and they were looking at each other, unsure how to approach the subject to you guys. But they sat you down and told you, how do I phrase this? They tell you that they love you guys very much, and there's nothing that could ever change how much that they love you. But as you guys got older and your curiosity grew, they felt that it was important that you and Carmina know that they were not your biological parents.
What? Hang on. I mean, I had two random...
Any questions?
Yes! So many. Like, you telling me this entire time Emus has lived his life being named after being named by some random mushroom farmers that he doesn't actually have a relation to?
What would you say as a kid in this moment that, like, you're sitting there, your parents just told you that they're not your biological parents, but they love you very deeply?
Could you throw an age range at me? Like, how old are we roughly?
You're probably... Hold on, let me go check my notes.
we were like 10 or I was 10 or 11 when I went off to school. Kamina's older than me.
You're probably about 8 at this point.
Okay, and Kamina's like 10, 11?
Yeah, ish.
Okay. Oh boy, what would I ask, or how would I react to that as an 8-year-old? Did they prompt me with any like information about who my parents really are, or they're just saying that they're not my real parents and that like we still love you and care for you type of thing?
Yeah, they're saying that they're not your biological parents, and although you're adopted, it's not because your real parents didn't love you, and they love you as true parents.
Okay. My childhood was pretty great, right? I liked scampering around in the woods and the forest.
Yeah, they were fantastic parents.
Yeah, that's how I got attuned with nature, which ended up making me a ranger in the end. So, 8 years old. Fuck, I'd probably just say, that's alright, I still love you guys, and I'd like hug them and say, like, you're still my parents. What is Carmina's reaction in this moment?
Carmina doesn't lean forward as you're sitting there hugging her, and kind of callously, Carmina goes, then who is our real parent? Then who are our real parents? And your mom hugs you tightly and kind of lets go for a moment, looks over at your dad, and your mom says, real angel of a woman, sweetie. And your dad looks over and goes, well, we probably shouldn't tell you too much. Your parents have a bit of a past. And your mom looks over at your dad, and he kind of corrects himself. Sorry. Your biological parents. I hope this doesn't change anything. And he reaches in, hugging you, kind of smelling like mushrooms a bit.
Don't worry, Mom. You're an angel to me.
Hermina reaches it after a mode of compilation, and you get the feeling that she's kind of doing it more for your sake, but she comes up behind Emus and gives the group a hug from behind Emus.
That's all I got for that interaction.
All right.
We have a big one we
Were
need
there-
to get to.
There's what?
There's a really big, important one for me that I can't wait to get to.
Which one?
The next one after that.
Were there any lessons that were specifically meant to prep
No.
us?
What came of my parents